phones are on silent. Are we all ready, guys? You guys are ready back there? Yeah. And then Aloha Kako, we are representatives from the class of 2016 at the Kamehameha Kapalua campus from Ku'ukehao's Honors Hawaiian History class. And we're here to share with you some of our research that we've done. We're going to start and we're going to introduce ourselves really quick. So we'll start with here.
Okay. O ko'u kiahe Fujimura, ko'u inoa, o Honolulu, my
Aloha, my name is Hope Ushiro Garma, and I am from Honolulu.
Aloha, O'Kili, Ko'uli Noa, no Kapuhulu Mayo.
Aloha, o Kahala Grace Ko Noa, no Nalani Mayo.
Aloha, my name is Joshua Sexton. I'm from Kainiki.
Aloha, o Nali Kalena Nikuna Halakeli, Ino Mokukur, Koino Piha, no Ko'imayo.
Aloha, my name is Kalala Kealohilani Mo'o, and I am from Laie Oahu.
Aloha, my name is Kua Onana Tanaka Pesamino, and I'm from Laie Koi.
Aloha, o Kalavena Ko'ui Noa, no Maui Maya.
Aloha, o Nainoa, Ko'uli Noa, no Kaneohe Mai.
Aloha Pehana Kako, o Maile Ku'inoa, no Mano Maiau, e Hana Keia o Nakupuna. We did the work of our ancestors. Mahalo nui for taking the time to listen to us and to take part in our project and our research. We're so excited to share with you, and I'll now turn the time over to Kalavena, who will start our presentation.
Aloha. So, I will be starting off talking about the topic of mana and its importance that it serves for our people. So in old Hawaii, our kupuna observed mana with extreme reverence and complete respect. They would hike many miles over rough and dangerous terrain to bury the iwi of our ali'i to ensure that their mana was preserved and that that mana would not be used or disrespected in any way by anyone. In war, our ali'i were eager to obtain that mana through the practices of ku. Mana was also passed through the generations, even heightened by the ancient traditional practices of ni'aupi'o and punalua mehi. As Western influences came into Hawaii, the practices surrounding mana changed, but the reverence with which our people perceived it, did it. As Kamehameha schools began to name the buildings on the kapala on the campus, a lot of careful planning was taken. If you take a look at the building names, a lot of it is organized by the mana of the namesakes. If we start from the top of our campus with the girl dormitories, we have Keopulani, then we move to Kapiolani Nui, down to Kekalu'ohi, and finally Kinau'upale, all placed by their sacredness. When we go to our upper campus, or our original school for girls, we have Konia, Pauahi's mother, Haleakala, Pauahi's beautiful home, and Ruth Ke'elikolani Auditorium. So these names, female names, are all arranged to show the mana of the people they memorialize, built specifically to show the significance of their importance to our princess and to our people. As our class took a look at the building names, we saw 3 names that were Kanaka Haole, Smith Office, Midkiff Library, and Bishop Hall. So we began our research on Midkiff and discovered that he was a beloved principal, a trustee, and a large contributor to the funds and work that went into developing the archives and the Midkiff Library that we have today. Charles Reed Bishop was a beloved husband of our Princess Bernice Pauahi Bishop, and also her executor to her will. W.O. Smith was one of the first trustees, but also a key player in the overthrow of our Hawaiian kingdom. This realization baffled us, so we began our research on Smith Office, named after William Owen Smith. And from the get-go, we discovered many reasons why W.O. Smith should not be honored at our school. Further information on this topic will be presented throughout the presentation, but we just wanted to state that through our research studying the overthrow and the events that led to the illegal annexation of our Hawaiian kingdom, that Smith should not be honored in our Hawaiian place of learning.
Many of us questioned ourselves with who is William Owen Smith. A lot of our students didn't know that he was born in Koloa, Kauai in 1848 in a Hawaiian community speaking Hawaiian. He also attended Punahou schools and Massachusetts Agricultural College at Amherst. He became a lawyer with a specialty in writing trusts, and he was also served as a Hawaii legislator. Smith also wrote Keali'ipoahi's will, which established Kamehameha schools in Bishop Iski. He was also served as one of the first trustees in 1884 through 1886. For a long time, he was a legal advisor for Queen Liliuokalani, but he used that trust for malicious deeds. After the Queen drafted a new constitution for the Hawaiian people, they manipulated the Queen's cabinet and used their authority to stop the new constitution from passing, so they would have time to execute their plan for the overthrow. The new constitution granted power to the Hawaiian people, power that was taken away in the time of King Kalakaua when he was forced to sign the Bayonet Constitution. In addition, Smith wrote the infamous Bayonet Constitution in 1887, as in he committed treason by assisting those who forced King Kalakaua to assign a constitution that disenfranchised the Hawaiian people. As a diplomat, he was very two-faced and manipulative. One minute he was offering support to the Queen, quote, offering her armed guards from the provisional government. She declined, perhaps thinking that she had enough problems already, close quote. And on the same day, he referred to her, quote, in correspondence as the old lady, close quote. He also suggested that the provisional government pay her off in exchange for relinquishing all rights to the throne. He co-created the Committee of Safety along with Lauren Thurston. The committee spread rumors of unrest and violence in the Hawaiian Kingdom. He spread rumors of her inability to be an effective ruler and violence in the kingdom when she wanted to promulgate her new constitution. He assisted in writing letters and claiming violent outbreaks in Hawaii to the U.S. Minister to Hawaii. He requested assistance of the U.S. military force that would take over the Hawaiian Kingdom. This act was the start of pointing to the blatant violation of the laws of nations. Once he received the military assistance he had requested, Smith and his fellow Committee of Safety members stood on the steps of Iliʻolani Hale and declared themselves the new government of Hawaii.
Smith was also showed discrimination to Native Hawaiian people as the president of the Department of Health overseeing Kalaupapa. The people of Kalaupapa, as you know, lived in exile from the rest of Hawaii, leaving their family, their friends, and their own lives to live out the rest of their time in seclusion. Smith had the power to allow people to enter in Kalaupapa to see their loved ones, but denied Native Hawaiians the right to see their ohana, but granted these same things to foreigners or people of European blood. Josiah Haule wrote in a letter, a resident of Kalaupapa, and you can read along with me in your handout. It's the blue box. He wrote to Smith saying, I fail to see that you have a rule that the white man only is privileged to come in here, and they are only privileged to go from here, as if it is a white man's country. It is not. This is a Hawaiian government with the Hawaiian people and Hawaiian rules or customs, and it should follow that the interests of Hawaiians should be looked after. I think there is no grounds for not permitting my wife to come here for a short time and return after we shall have settled some matters relating to our real estate and personal property. My wife does not know what to do in order to provide herself with means to live in this world while I am dying in this place. On other occasions, he denied Hawaiians the simplest of things. For example, he denied Jonas and Kailua the simple right of using a camera that was given to him by his friend. As you can see, Smith does not show the values that Kamehameha Schools has tried to instill in all of its people and its students: kindness, compassion, sympathy, and understanding.
We are not the first ones to notice this misalignment of values at Kamehameha. In a book, Broken Trust by S.P. King, you can also read along in your handout. It's this white box at the bottom right hand. It says, immediately following the overthrow in 1893, Kamehameha students and their parents voted with their feet against a school run by annexationists. So many students left and did not come back that the enrollment went down by almost half and remained at that level for several years. The topic of renaming Smith Office has been discussed before, but no formal action has been taken. After completing our research, we created a petition to gain support and educate our community in the renaming of Smith Office to Kamakaʻeha Office, as Kamakaʻeha is another name for Queen Liliuokalani, the last reigning monarch of Hawaii, as well as a Hanai sister to Kauai. Although we released this petition only this past Wednesday, so 2 days ago, we've received over 800 signatures supporting this cause and supporting the changing of the name of Smith Office. Although there may be some debate on what the name should be changed to, there's no doubt that many people have joined together to agree that Smith is not the name that should be commemorated. We received many comments and testimonials from students and parents and alumni, even Hawaiians living on the continental U.S., and we also received support from political leaders worldwide. And even Dr. Chun sent a message to us commending our efforts and supporting the name change. In addition, Mr. Ako has also come here to support us, as he previously advocated for the name change during the 100th year observance of the overthrow in 1993. So now we're just going to read a few testimonies. They're going to be right here on the board, and we'll go around.
Smith was a citizen of the Hawaiian Kingdom, which means he was a traitor to the nation of which Pauahi was an heir to the throne. The fact that the building is named after him in the first place shows that history is complex, but also gives us clarity for how to act in the present. Change the name.
As an alumna of the Kamehameha Schools, this student-led initiative brings happiness to my heart. Educated Hawaiians taking the stand to change what isn't pono. Ua lehu lehu a mano mano ka ikena a ka Hawaii. Shisa kahana ele.
I believe that the buildings of Kamehameha Schools should reflect important people of not only Hawaiian ancestry, but the purpose and values of our school and Princess Poi. Smith was one of the people that overthrew our beloved queen, and having a building named after an overthrower is equivalent to honoring the people who slandered the Hawaiian country. Rihanna Kahabai.
Our school is the representation of our culture, of our lahui. We as people of Hawaii and the students who will help our culture prosper must do what it takes to help our culture thrive. Gabrielle Kesoli.
It is pono. I like the thought of Kamakaʻeha joining Tukunia, who in real life was Lihu's Makuahine Hanai. Nice, meaningful. Cultural symbolism and tribute. Hauʻoli Akaka.
It is time Kamehameha honored the thousands of names of excellent Kanaka Maoli rather than opportunist names of our occupiers. Show your haumana that they should strive to emulate the grace, power, and intelligence of their kupuna to make us Osorio.
Being that it is a Hawaiian school and is named after an important Hawaiian chief, it is imperative that we preserve the language and show respect to significant people of Hawaiian descent. Names carry more than just a title, providing a story and an insight to history. If we do not honor these people of the past, then they may be forgotten. The names that are remembered should be ones that empower the Hawaiian people, not suppress them. Aaron Number.
I believe that our school should represent and encourage the beauty of our kingdom and its monarchy, rather than embrace the horrors of the traitors involved in our demise. Changing the name reaffirms our Hawaiian identity and allows the students to become more confident in our ancient tradition and history. This is my personal testimony.
We are the voice for all these people that signed the petition, and there are arguments that have been made in Smith's defense, Not everything he did was wicked, but the things that he did that brought detriment to our Hawaiian culture cannot be ignored. He did not show integrity, and he did not portray the values that we uphold at Kamehameha schools. Renaming the office to a woman who had integrity, who loved her culture and her people more fully encapsulates our desires for our campus. A man that committed actions like this should not have the honor of being memorialized on Kamehameha's campus. In the Vision 2040 statement outlined in the annual plan summary, released by the Kamehameha schools, it says, "We also envision that our learners will be grounded in Christian and Hawaiian values and will be leaders who contribute to their communities, both locally and globally." Having an office that is named after a man who did not value Hawaiian culture or demonstrate Hawaiian values and who did not uphold Christian values is not a proper representation of what we want our campus to be. However, as our class has come together to heavily research and stand up for this cause, we have demonstrated what this vision aspires for our students. We have shown kuleana, laulima, lokahi, aloha for our culture and our school, and many more Hawaiian values. We stood up as leaders to contribute to our culture and to our school, and many more Hawaiian values. We've stood up as leaders to contribute and to an attempt to honor our culture and improve our community. We hope that you realize that every small step and every action in the direction of honoring our Hawaiian culture is a step worth taking. We learned so much through this research process, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to listen to our hopes and improve them for our campus and a topic we are so passionate about. We sincerely hope that you've heard us and that you'll consider taking action to rename the office. Hamanui loa. If you have any questions, we'll take them now. Does anybody have any questions?
Maybe an observation and then a question. First of all, thank you. One of my putting on is to look at all the campuses and the whole issue of the genealogy and honoring that is true across all the campuses, so it's not just a Kapalama issue. And I think you make a really powerful case about changing the name. There is a policy in place about a particular group that gets together to help create new names, and that's a relatively new. And although I think this is a great recommendation, I think there's some rationale think about that group maybe taking that as a recommendation and then processing it across other options too. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. We do recognize that this petition covers two different things. One is getting rid of the name, and the second is putting up a new one.
Perfect.
There's a lot of debate on what the new one should be. Kamaka Eho was just a suggestion.
Got it.
But the most important thing at this point is making sure that it's not Smith.
Got it. I guess my question is, at the very end, you have you've shared with us sort of this ongoing petition. When will you present the petition formally and to whom?
Well, this is kind of like our starting point for the petition. The petition is that paper right over there. We launched the petition 2 days ago just to spread the word and to get it out.
At the end of the year, I think a lot of people want to support it, and so we want to give some time for other people to just, and we're not here, we didn't create it to, say who we wanted to change. We really wanted to create support and to show what the students are doing. So we would like to present it to folks, and we actually, in the petition says we're presenting it to all the executives.
Well, and we have one of the people's names here, right, Kevin? But I'm thinking there's such power to this, and maybe Kevin, you can take it back to Aha Kulia and talk to them about how might best, because I do think there's real power in both what's written, but also in the way you presented it, the message. And so it may not be all of you, but it may be a smaller group. And I just think presenting a petition with the background is very powerful. And I would just encourage you to think about how that might, maybe even working with your office about figuring out how we might best do that.
Yeah.
Those are my observations. Question.
Wait, are you saying that they should come back for a smaller presentation?
I'm just saying that's one thing Kevin should talk with Aha Kulia about how best to do this, because it calls for a response, and I think it's best to organize and coordinate how that best happens. This is not just a Kamehameha issue. This is, I think I mentioned to Shari that I see this kind of thing happening at Princeton with Wilson. I see it happen at Amherst with the Lord Jeffs. This is not unique to our situation, but we need to have a way to respond to that. And I know Dr. Stinder he's with the 5th grade in their activity today right now, but he knows this is not a new issue, but this is perhaps the opportunity to take action on it.
So if you would like us to do a field trip, will you please approve that? Because there's a no field trip. For you know what? We want to make sure that if you need us to be here, that we have some. I'm just throwing that out.
So, if I may, for those who don't know me, I'm Earl Kim, I'm the head of school. First, I want to compliment you on the research that you did do, and I would love to see any of the written papers that support some of the statements that were made. I'm especially interested in, so I'm really moving away from the operational things for a second. I'm really interested in other perspectives on the Bayonet Constitution, how that came about, because I know it's sort of like a black box, and whether, you know, an analogy to today might look something like if President Obama took the authority of Congress away to some degree, would he be guilty of violating our Constitution, and would Congress then be correct in impeaching? So I don't know, so I'd love to read your papers on that. But great job, and the presentation was really wonderful. Terrific job on that. It was to be complimented. And this is just the kind of thing we want to see, and it came from you, which is even more powerful. So we mahalo you for that. On the operational side, we just happen to have on Monday's agenda for our campus advisory committee, a naming policy or practice for the campus. It's purely coincidence because something else had come up. So once we have that in place, we'll be able to move this along from our level to downtown.
Any other questions, comments?
That must be comments. Okay, how?
Just a whole make just very impressed at the degree of research that you conducted, the primary source material. So I see some MUTEPA research in there as well. Awesome. Very commendable. But far beyond that you folks have taken the initiative to do this in the first place. I don't know how many generations of students have made that observation, and faculty as well. And you folks have the wherewithal to carry that desire through to this level and to be on the brink of making real change. And the fact that you brought it this far stands out among all other attempts that have happened. And really, thank you. Mahalo nui na ʻoukou for doing that. Because it is a eha for so many of us. You know, and you guys are doing something about that, and that's, to some people it may not seem that enormous, but for many of us it's huge. It's hugely important. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Yes, so I am Kevin Cockett. My name is on this document. Mahalo. Yeah, and I want to acknowledge a few things. First, my son Will is part of your class. And I'm not surprised at the poise and the polish and quality of your presentation. So I should all want to congratulate you, Kumu Chan, my son's homeroom teacher. And all of you, this is really touching for me on many levels.
You're filming, I don't want to put my head
I'm a 1984 graduate, and this spirit was not alive when I was there. My classmate over there shaking her head. And you are living proof of the vision that our trustees have put forth and where we're headed and where we need to go. And I imagine when you're sitting in these chairs and you are at this stage of your life and you have children there, I wonder how they're going to be pushing your floors or your ceilings. Our ceilings are your floor. What are your ceilings going to be? What are their floors going to be? So I have part of my mo'opuaha Kamehameha schools is my great grandfather Samuel Kapuhana was in the very first graduating class from the schools, and he was from the Wai'uhiru, Big Island, and he was a farmer. He was a rancher. And his daughter also went to Kamehameha. And now my son is there. But as you were kind of going over the history there, I couldn't help but think about what their lives were like and what their hearts were going through at that time. So this touches me at a lot of levels. I've been around Kamehameha all my life, but I've never worked for Kamehameha until this past year. So I'm here right now. And I think I'm here at a time, blessed to be here at a time when this is the kind of thing we get to do for our organization. So on behalf of our management team, all of us here and our trustees, I know they would all be equally proud of the work you've done and what you presented here today. And I know they will all be open to hearing more about this in recognition of the process that is in place to evaluate naming, because it is a protocol, and as you all know, we are steeped in protocol and tradition. Tradition as a culture, and even tradition as a school traditions, right? And so I am committed to taking this back to our management team, and I don't know what the next step will be. Again, I will work in concert with the educators on behalf of management. I will follow up to what the next step is. But until then, keep up the great work. And I also want to encourage you, you're that close to finishing. Finish strong, finish well. Yeah, and get ready to step into your next stage of life. So thank you.
Thank you.
I first heard about this 2 nights ago at an alumni event at Cinnamon's at the Ilikai, and we were honored to have another group of students speak to us. And for the first time, we had 4 teachers who was at our alumni event. And the networking and the things that went on that evening from the beginning, when Julian had welcomed everyone and given our kule, and then Kevin presented as VP of Communications, and then Kamuela Cobb Adams, another Kamehameha graduate. It was probably one of the best alumni events I have been a part of. And as many of you know in this room, I coordinate a lot of these alumni events. What made it particularly special to me was to have our students and for our alumni to be a part of something and to support the efforts and the successes of our students, of things that we have never seen before. Our students are now traveling the world. When Kevin and I were students at Kamehameha back in the 80s, the only group that got to travel was concert glee. And so I know a lot of my friends who wanted to join concert glee. Well, I couldn't, I can't sing for nothing. But the opportunities that have been given to all of you, and when you have the teachers like yours, Mrs. Glasgow, who care so much about you and are willing to guide and direct you in such a way to do something like this. I commend you, I applaud you, I thank you on behalf of our alumni. And as I look around this table, there are a lot of alumni. And I am going to be so proud to soon welcome all of you to join our brotherhood and sisterhood of new graduates of Kamehameha Schools. I will do my efforts to make sure that this petition goes out to all of our alumni to support, but how impressive that in 2 days you folks have done all of this. And I thank you, and I thank your teachers, and I thank the Kumu who are here and the administrators that are here, and Kevin for taking it forward to the next step. In our conversation the other night, it was like, oh, I sent it out to a couple of people, and I was like, okay, well, let's get this person on your list, and look.
It was really scary writing all the trustees' names and all these names. I was like, do I send?
Cal told me the other night, can I send emails to them? I go, absolutely. It's the same emails how you send to everybody else. And I tell you what, I came from another meeting and I had to cut it short because I told him, I said I was coming to this to support our students. And it was literally the talk of the 7 of us that were in that room. So Mike Ian, thank you so much.
So, I know we have, oh, sorry.
If it's okay. Aloha kako. I'm not an alumni, real quick, but kako nui. I'm a Hamana Kulakaya Puni, Hawaiian Immersion School, and it's really neat to see the progression of Kamehameha schools, and it's really aligning with, and I'm looking up our, sorry if I'm on my phone, but I'm looking up our cultural principles, our new Hawaiian culture-based ed frameworks. You guys are a great la'ana or example of what some of these frameworks are asking for, and I'm specifically thinking about aloha aina, a love and devotion for your homeland, and o Hawaii ku'ukulaiwi, and express through acts of aloha aina. A lot of people think aloha has to be always soft and kind, but aloha is also to protect. It's to stand up when things you feel is wrong, and to trust your na'au, and to trust the thousands of kupuna who stand behind you when you go up and aloha your aina and you protect your aina. And you guys are doing an amazing act, one that is very brave, two that is well researched, and three that you're delivering it to the right audiences. To have that combo come together is very powerful, and mahalo kumu, who I know her kikir in Kayapuni too, with mine as well, who know the vai of educating all of our Kiki Hawaii to think and act, but to assert their mana, because this is in you. It's ingrained in your DNA to be amazing, brilliant, strong people. And you guys showed a great la'ana of that today. Smith, there's a lot of things on him, including being the leader of banning Hawaiian language before it was even banned in the kingdom. He banned it at the schools 6 years before it was a national ban. So Kamehameha was at the forefront, the leader of some of the bad things as well. And for us as an organization, it's good to acknowledge that. It's good to recognize that, because we can also learn from that in how we move forward. And you're starting to see it in our policies. Policy and leadership, that's where the huli, we call it huli, right? You guys know what huli, right? So huli, besides meaning to turn over, is the kalo, right? Besides the kalo, anakala kawa'a will probably attest to this, but huli has a lot of kauna to it. When you plant kalo, you're planting huli, you're planting change, but it's easy to plant. It's easy to make a baby. The hard part is the malama. Now you guys are taking these steps, and as you guys puka kula and you graduate and you go and you gain ike throughout the honua, throughout the pai aina, never forget to come back home and malama those uli that you planted. Because this aina is our aina. To malama, not just for us, but for your kids, your great-grandkids, their great-grandkids one day. And the action that we do now, how does that affect it? And I think this is an amazing, you guys did an amazing job. Mahalo kumu, mahalo to all the haumana for standing up, for representing your kupuna well, and for taking action. Because easy for talk, easy for namu, but it's another thing to actually make the move and to do something. So mahalo to you guys.
Go ahead, Julian.
I am so proud of you folks. I'm so proud of you. Hallelujah. You know, when I found out about this presentation once night at the alumni gathering, and your kumu invited me to come, I was, you know, very, very happy to have the opportunity to be here. But, you know, over the last couple of days, I've thought a lot about this subject, and, you know, it kind of weighs heavily on me, because on the one hand, you know, I think it's removing the name is the right thing to do. But you know, it's hard to think in terms of the possibility that this is also disrespecting a human being. So it's not, for me, it's very, on the one hand it may seem simple, but on the other hand it's very complex. And you know, I've spent a good part of my life actually studying history. That's what I majored in undergraduate and graduate school. And so, you know, on the one hand, we have facts. On the other hand, we place meaning to those facts. And, you know, I've been mulling over what might have been the motivation of William Owen Smith to be a part of the overthrow of Queen Keokalani. That would be, for me, an interesting thing to try to do research on in terms of primary source material, to find out motivation for actions. But, you know, the other side, part of why I feel it's the right thing to do is that, to me, you have to look at the effect of actions and the results from actions. And there are two things that stand out in my mind in terms of results that, for me, argue in favor of doing what you folks are advocating for. Number one, although William O. Smith helped helped Hawaii write her trust, on the other hand, the fact that we're having to fight today to defend that trust is a result of his actions with the Committee of Safety. Because it is because of the overthrow that now a trust that was written during the Hawaiian Kingdom finds itself having to be defended in a different milieu. To me, that's very, very heavy, you know, that we are constantly having to defend our preferential admissions policy as a result of the overthrow. The other thing that occurs to me is that, as most of us know, our Native Hawaiian people were 95% literate in their own language. They were literate in their own language. And the effects of the overthrow had a tremendous impact both on the literacy rate and with the passage of the Organic Act in 1896 on why we find our language in the state that it is in today. And to me, those are two things that are a result of Mr. Smith's actions as a part of the safety committee that argue in favor of sad. It's kind of heavy sad, you know, on the one hand, but I think it's the right thing to do. But I really mahalo you folks. And I'm just sharing this perspective with you because I didn't hear it in your presentation. And it might be something you folks might want to take a look at further if you decide to do more.
I'm sorry.
No.
Can I have Kalal explain why she wanted, Kamakaeha, the name? Can I have you do that? Because it kind of, the symbolism and everything, it kind of addresses Mr. Cole's comment.
Well, I definitely share your perspective. Out of all the people in my class who voted for a petition, I was the only one in the class who did not. So I definitely played a devil's advocate to their arguments and findings with my own research, which was separate to theirs in the beginning. But I ended up actually suggesting the name Kamakaeha in the first place. And one of the things I was really interested in was the names of different buildings on each campus. So I looked at the buildings of the names, or the building names on each campus, and found that our school was, or our campus was the only one without a building commemorating Li'uokalani in any way. While the Hawaii campus had Kamakaeha Music building, I believe, and another building on Maui campus named Li'uokalani. So I chose Kamakaeha for several reasons. One, because it is another name for Li'uokalani, and there's symbolism in that we take an annexationist out and we put our queen in. And not only that, but it's like returning her home, because as you know, she is the Hanai sister of Pauahi. And her Hanai mother is right next to her, Kunia. And by taking Smith out and replacing it with a powerful woman's name, it kind of brings the campus together, because all the buildings surrounding that one building have powerful women's namesakes. I mean, as Kalavan was saying earlier, all the dormitories, our gym, Kaupamanu, there's Haleakala, Konia, Ke'alikulani, all of those names kind of bring it together. And I think that's why such a name is wonderful for that building. And another reason too is because people begin, I guess, just curiosity. People don't really know, I guess, Kamakaeha is another name for the Li'uokalani. And through that curiosity, that spark of interest, they can learn more about what the name is, what the history is. And through that curiosity, people will begin, I guess, what we started, the research, the delving into the name and the mana. And I think that's important to think about in terms of names and such, and that's kind of why I suggested that.
Well done. I want to thank all of you. I know you've been standing there very patiently for the last 45 minutes. I suspect a lot of the people here will want to have some individual conversations with 11 different students here who've done the research, and I'm going to let Uncle Earl make the last comment, but when that's done, we'll take a break, and then don't hold on too long because we have lunch for them downstairs. Uncle Earl, last word.
To my colleagues, I'm again going to step out of my role, but I know the risks involved, and I'm not afraid to go there. I think we, as Kamehameha School people, we lost an opportunity to talk about what the youngsters did, and we chose a Western format to talk about it. This format that we talk to the youngsters is a Western format, and this is a school for Hawaiians. We should have turned our tables and talked to each other about what they did and let them hear in. That methodology is called pu'ulu. We talk about what they did to ourselves, and in so sharing every aspect, for example, research, initiative, courage, failure, leadership. They didn't hear that from us. We missed the opportunity. Again, we missed the opportunity because our methodology, it fails us and it fails them. We fail them all the time. They're courageous to be here. We as adults, we fail. That group that tried to say we fail, but we don't say that. We talk about policy, and your biggest challenge, my dear people, is going to be policy, not going to be from the outside. Your biggest difficulty is going to be in-house. Inahelana ka po ikupuna inoha kumaane imay ilohoyan ako o kumanao. If our ancestors were sitting here, your grandfathers and your grandmothers would hear you say, they would say to you, I have a kela kanaka. They would say to you, that man is wrong. That man has to ask for forgiveness. And that what you folks are doing is bringing that man to forgiveness. That's what your kupunas will tell you. But none of us told you that today. In our powerful freaking positions, we didn't tell you folks that. You folks are right. You started off with mana. Yeah? You started off with mana. You're courageous. They're courageous to come before us. I'm afraid that if we don't look at these, you folks are leaders of tomorrow. And you know what? Kamehameha School is talking about leadership. We're struggling with it as an institution. And you brave ones come before and stand us. Tough issue. The leadership qualities to do that. Your research, you always need more research. Saul Alinsky says research. Yeah, because that's what you're going to stand on. And there's a lot more research to do. That's what you're going to stand on. May nananama ko po how develop ko research. It says, don't look only at the western side of the research. Nana iloko kela hu olelo kamana. Look into that word of mana. There's a powerful research there. And this kumo here can help you go further because he and I had a class on mana. There is more. It is a class that we should all learn at Kamehameha School, that word mana. That's it. Initiative. We should be initiating this. We should be. You folks are. They said the work you're doing is supposed to be the work of the adults. You're doing adult work. You're doing our work. Courage. A young man at Castle High School in Paul Keller who's failing in school, his lines is this: courage is not an option. I mean, failure is not an option. That's my dyslexic side. That's it. This young man who is failing in school said in his writing, failing is not an option. You have to believe in yourself. Because oftentimes in this kind of work, you'll have to stand alone. You'll have to stand alone. And some of us have been through it. One, over there. And leadership, if what you folks demonstrated today is what we're learning in training at Kamehameha School for management.